has had many firsts in its history, and today is yet another as we enter the lifestyle segment of the motorcycle market. TVS Ronin, true to its name, does not have any master. It allows each customer to explore their individuality and chart their own unscripted life. True to TVS products, it comes with world-class technology and connectivity. The Ronin also comes with an exclusive range of merchandise and accessories, a riding community, and easy customization to provide customers a truly unique lifestyle experience.
Wow, so this is going to be something, right? To tell you more about the new way of life, who better than the brains behind it? I would like to invite Vimal Samli, Head Business Premium at TVS, to take our audience to the journey.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome. And I'm sure you're going to experience a new genre of motorcycling today. And before I get into that, I thought I will share with you a little bit about TVS, the journey of TVS. Some of you know, and some of you don't know about it. As you know, TVS started its journey in 1911, and we are 110 years into this business. And right from making mass commuting electric vehicles to racing with our Apache series. That has been a long journey of brand TVS. And why we are here today, we're going to add another milestone to that with the launch of the new genre of motorcycles today. And I'm sure all of you know that it is going to be a cruiser, it's going to be a classic, it's going to be sports. Let the time tell us what it's going to be today. But I'm sure at the end of it, you all will be very excited to see what we're going to launch today. Before I go there, as we know, we are in the business. So let me share some industry figures. Some of you know and some of you I'll just update. If you look at the overall industry of two-wheelers in India, and within that, if you look at a motorcycle, and then if you focus on typically the sports segment of motorcycling, it's 150 plus. So roughly around 1.5 lakh motorcycles are sold per month. This roughly adds up to 1.8 million of the industry size there. And when we're doing our study and we're finding about in the market, what is that the customer is looking new? What is that he's looking for motorcycles in the marketplace? We found an interesting thing that within the segment of 200 to 300 cc, we found the consumers are looking for something new, looking for something which is different, and they don't want to be stereotyped. I want you to take a note of this word which I'm saying stereotype. They don't want to be put in any bucket of any genre of motorcycle. They were looking for something which is new, which is different, which really goes with their style, which is completely newbies of the riding community. So why we are here today? So today we are here to create a new milestone with you, our foray into a new and unexplored segment in the global motorcycle industry, with a motorcycle that we all hope will celebrate a new breed of riders. And I'm sure when you see the bike in flash, you're really going to say, yes, there's something different from TVS, yet another product from TVS. So, you know, as a company, we are an engineering company, we are a global company, we do a lot of research before we venture into something. Something we did in 2005 with bringing racing to the forefront, which was democratizing racing in India. And you know what Apache has done for a period of time. When we're studying the consumers in the market, we saw there are two broader worlds where the consumers today are slotted in. Either a world which is showman, flashy, and performance driven. Second, which is elemental, rigid, and heritage. And research showed us the new age rider is more spontaneous. He doesn't want to be bucketed in something. He doesn't want to say, hey, it's classic, this is for you. He wanted to get into something which he believed in for himself, which is different. And we decided thereby to create a third dimension to the pre-existing two genres which are there in the motorcycling world. So what do we call them? Before I give the name to them, as we saw in the research and the study with the consumers, we are seeing a cultural shift. Whether you saw in pandemic times, you saw before that, there's a great shift which is happening in the culture of the country in terms of the whole motorcycling family. The cultural shift is happening. Roles are evolving. You could see, from providing something to becoming a partner. physical supremacy, which was supposed to be so-called machismo of motorcycling in the world before, to becoming an emotionally bringing that equality over there, goalposts to the journey. Okay, destiny to development, and the youth of today is changing. You all agree, right? Youth is changing, right? He wants to get into newer genre. He wants to do something which is different. He wants to create something which is different, and we can see that in every part of the world today. And we call this genre of riders as improvised, so that you know what is the genre we are addressing, why we are addressing, what is the kind of opportunity we are going to create with this genre. So this is typically moving from rigidity to versatility. So today, a lot of segments are very rigid in terms of how they feel, look, ride, to becoming more versatile. That you can pick a bike, you don't have a plan, you just put your leg around it and you go for a ride. You don't have to worry whether it's a classic or adventure or it is a sports segment. So guys, let me show you an AD, which is for this improvis that we have building this motorcycle. Before going to that segment, let me show you the AD. Can you play the AD, please?
There's a new breed of bikers out there. A breed that follows its heart, not the herd. You won't find them in rally regalia or in racing leathers. They are the ones who choose to improvise. And they have an extraordinary appetite for the new. They set trends, not lifetimes. They seek adventure, not in remote places, but in every second of their daily lives. They react in an instant, not to a racing start line, but to their curiosity. They're multidimensional, multifaceted, multicultural. They choose to innovate. They choose to experiment, not just for the sake of it, but because they truly believe they are the ones who control their destiny. They choose to follow their own script, which they write and rewrite every day. Because their lives are not bound by stereotypes. Because they choose to explore every facet of their own ever-changing personalities. And they ride a bike because that's the best way they can think of to travel between their many worlds.
So guys, this is the motorcycle which we are going to launch today. It's going to be inspired by this emerging lifestyle. And we at TVS really evolved our designs, evolved ourselves to get into this genre of motorcycle. Our culture connects with their thoughts and option to personalize their own motorcycle, a versatile riding experience, a free-spirited motorcycle built to take you to any trial. Any tech powered, and it's also fully tech powered in terms of its effortless riding. I'm sure when you look at the connected technology which is in the motorcycle, you're really going to see the new genre of motorcycle getting created. So guys, let me take you to the next level. It's not introducing a motorcycle that is the first of its kind, a motorcycle that is unslotable. When most of the motorcycles are slottable, you can say which genre, which category. Unstereotyped. I am like this, thereby this is my motorcycle. It's going to be the other way around. I want to ride something and thereby I need a motorcycle, not the motorcycle deciding the riding habit of a customer. Third is legacy free. There's no legacy that my dad rode it, my grandfather rode it, so I have to ride it. So something which is unscripted into a new genre altogether. A motorcycle with a no known master. And that is TVS Ronin. And that is the new motorcycle we are going to introduce today. You'll have to hold your breath before we tell you a little bit more about it before the bikes roll out onto the stage. So this is the brand we are launching today, the TVS Ronin. So it's not a cruiser, it's not a sports bike, it's not a classic, but a motorcycle with a category of its own. For those improvists to live their own unscripted lives. So we're getting into the genre of unscripted. And close your eyes, I'm sure most of you would like to do this in your life, various walks of life. And that's what this motorcycle will bring together. So when we're creating this whole brand of TVS Ronin, we created a world of TVS Ronin around it. As you saw Sudarshan speaking about, it's not only about motorcycle, but about motorcycling. And the modern retro with a category and a lifestyle of its own, where the only rule is to have none. There's no rule for this motorcycle. And to create a holistic set of experience which no other motorcycle provides today for these improvists. We have a complete set of online and offline footprints, which includes cult, that is culture, lifestyle, and travel, a configurator for its personalization, merchandise and accessories for a unique storytelling, and a new age connected technology. So we'll have a merchandise EV, please. So as you saw that Ronin will have its own set of merchandise which is absolutely branded with Ronin, so the consumer can absolutely look out in style in public. So on top of it, we are bringing first time a configurator where you can choose from various set of accessories to make your motorcycle own. This is the first time we will be putting it online and you can really personalize your motorcycle Ronin. On top of it, as you know, as a company, we have always stayed ahead in terms of technology. Yet again, we have a smart connect, which not only ensures safety and comfort with a smart X connect. Like tour mode is there, there's got ride mode, it's got voice and ride assist, turn-by-turn navigation for effortless riding, and telephony and an auxiliary dashboard for tech power convenience. Also, this dashboard you can really personalize for your own self. It's like what you see in cars, you will see probably going forward. Apart from that, we bring TVS Ride app and with an impressive technology so that you can write your own story. So guys, this is the world of Ronin. Now I will invite my colleague R. Babu to take you through Ronin in more details before we roll out the motorcycle. Yeah, R. Babu, can we have on the stage?
Good evening. Let me extend a warm welcome from my side. Thank you, Bimal, for introducing us to the world of TVS Ronin. I would like to walk you through the highlights of the passionate engineering that has gone into creating the unscripted motorcycle TVS Ronin. Let's look at it in three parts: the engine, which is the powertrain, the vehicle, and also the electronics and controls. The engine is a 66 by 66 square engine, 225.9 cc, power, torque, but what matters is the distinctness, the distinct characteristics, a very strong low and mid-range torque, a unique flat torque curve as flat as it can get, and highly focused engineering that has gone into looking at the drivability. We have driven every mile, every kilometer of the initial stages looking for the distinct characteristics. That has been the theme of engineering, and it's also highly refined and excellence in comfort. On engine, there is a lot that you can do to make the ride more enjoyable, not only the deliver the power and torque, but also the characteristic of the engine. It can be offering a lot of comfort when you want to go for a long ride, and to top it up, the unique tonal character from the exhaust that adds up to the characteristic Ronin engine. Let's look at some of the details. The curve that you can see here offers so much of low and mid-range torque that keeps you going, and that comes out of a detailed engineering of a lot of bits. What you can see here is 3-4 pieces out of that. The wave dynamics on the intake track, typically a long track can give us high torque, but the dynamics matters a lot. The dynamics matching with the intake and exhaust supported by a high acceleration cam that adds up to the dynamic optimization of fuel flow, the air flow, and the combustion that happens inside. To get all of that throughout the wide range, particularly in the lower end, the shell bearings are used with hydrodynamic film for lubrication, which makes the crankshaft drive so free, so ready at the low speeds to deliver friction-free torque output. What it matters to the rider, all of that. It's best suited for any terrain, also on the gradients. Let's take a look at the gradients a little later. There will be less need to gear shift, so we keep going, and low revs that adds up to the smooth and pleasurous ride. One of the fine details in getting the combustion right is how you target the fuel spray. The fuel injection is something that will look everything the same, but the details matter a lot. The twin valve intake, the way the port design is done, a lot of simulation is done to get the characteristic fuel, the fuel flow inside, the way the automation happens, and the swirl and tumble, the way they would complement each other, is all done to get that unique characteristic torque and power delivery and make also the combustion very, very smooth. The result is unscripted. There is no reason to compare or talk of scoring anything or winning a race. But then as a biker, I would like to know, where do I get, what do I get from the Ronin? So we just looked at certain typical day-to-day demands when I'm on a bike, be it a 0 to 60, be it a pass-by acceleration on a highway, I need to slow down and again pick it up in the fourth gear, in the fifth gear, be it 30 to 80 kph or 50 to 80 kph. It just goes effortlessly, goes ahead. With the opening of the throttle, it just instantly responds. Another important parameter which all of us as bikers know is when I get into the traffic, I would like to be a bit lazy. I would like to shift gears less. I would like the bike to keep going. So the target, one of the engineering target is to get the third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear speeds as low as possible so that there is less need for shifting. And with the throttle open, it just responds and goes. And biking is all about going on the weekends, going for long rides, and also on the mountains. So gradability on higher gear is also an additional target we took. We wanted to make sure that in third gear, Ronin will climb the fastest on a 10-degree gradient, not just a small gradient. So these unique characteristics are also added with a unique signature, the Ronin sound character. This was dialed in looking into the fine details. One example here, what you can see is unique oil damping is used to quieten the camshaft when the engine gets hotter. Typically, as the bores expand, you get a characteristic sound. And to get that characteristic sound to the tune that we wanted, we innovated an oil damping to get the noise characteristics altered. Whether it's a guitar or it's a drum, it's all about the structure, the vibration that finally translates into noise. So the crankcase, the cover, the stiffness is all tweaked to get the target sound character that we had in mind to create that unique unscripted sound character. High inertia flywheel. The inertia not only helps to get the idle low and stable, but also it gets that characteristic sound, whether it is low speed grunt or as I wait for the signal for the word go. So the key 5 elements are tabled here, which are compared against what typically is available in the industry today. And those highlighted 3 are something that we added as an innovation to get that unique characteristic for the Ronin sound. It is like composing, so 28 different noises. These noises are in different conditions as well. It's not just about the source alone, but different riding conditions. Also the conditions in which I may be a rider, I may be a friend standing nearby. So much of detailed engineering was requiring dialing in individual parameters to get what we targeted as overall unique character of Ronin. And I think you should more listen to the bike than to me to hear that. To add to the fun of riding, it's also important to get that comfort. So the power is there, the torque is there, I keep going, but I would also like to have the leisure ride, more a pleasure than anything that's punishing me. So the thermal comfort and the ease of control was another topic that we took up. The oil cooler is enhanced, O3C technology is put in, and the cover, It's a unique design that has gone into two layers that helps both for the thermal comfort and also for the sound characteristics that Ronin comes with. And the assist and slipper clutch adds to the joy of controlling as and when I need, whether it's a partial slip, whether it's a shift down, shift up, all of that. So here again, a comparison to say things that are done new and different to get that unscripted characteristics. This engine has gone onto a vehicle. That's also something that is having unique design details engineering that makes it stand out of the crowd. The theme has been a pleasure ride. A pleasure ride is one where I don't race with anyone. I'm not here to win a race. I'm not here to check my lap timing. I'm not going to be scoring any points, but I just want to ride. Ride wherever I want to, go wherever I want to. It's my ride, it's unscripted. So what it means is planted, but also precise handling. Planted need not mean that I'm lazy, I don't respond. Control at ease as I cruise through traffic, as I cruise through highways, any control that I would love, it is at ease, comfortable, upright posture for long rides, and a great ride comfort in all terrains. That's been the theme with which the whole vehicle engineering has been done. Many of you will be familiar with these key engineering parameters that build up a motorcycle on two wheels to stand and do what it does to us, the love and connect that we have. Every parameter was to be explored for a design space which is unexplored. And so we were to look at the conflicts typically that happen in physics as we understand and optimize each of this between the two poles of being fast, being sporty, have a sprint, and also be planted, precise, and aid me to go for a long ride. To do this, we were to use advanced computer simulation because exploring design space, especially where multiple parameters have a lot of seemingly conflicting nature, we were to use these advanced simulation models. It's a 21 degrees of freedom model. What it means is that 9 different block subsystems make up the rider and the bike together as one system which is moving around in this world of gravitational field. And that has 21 different ways of moving. That's what it means. That higher the degree of freedom, that much more the model is complex, and that's that much more true to what it happens on the real world. And 15 different 15 plus road profiles that are being configured in the virtual world. And we explored the complete design space to get into the combinations. For example, the front axle weight. The bike is lighter, as you can see, 160 kilograms, but the front axle weight is more. That gives it its unique characteristics. The wheel size is a 17-inch, 110/70 front. That again gives its unique characteristic combination. We also introduced a wheel offset. We'll see it in the next slide in detail. The wheelbase is also shorter. And that makes the whole bike get that unscripted characteristic of being planted, but also responsive. The way I want it should ride. It's an all-new chassis. It's a synchro-stiff technology engineered double cradle split chassis with the mass balancing done with 40 millimeter center of gravity moving forward. And the wheel offset was something that was leveraged to dial in the right amount of trail without having to get my steering offset moved. What happens typically is for a given caster of 27 degrees, if I have to control the trail, I have to move the wheel forward. And when I do that, it moves away from the center of pivot. So the inertia increases, the response comes down. To tweak that, we have used this wheel offset to get that unique characteristics. The structure is generally expected to be stiff, but the stiffness is also not just static, it's also dynamic. In different frequency ranges, the structure responds very differently. So it was important for us to explore the operating frequency range and optimize the overall stiffness of the system along with the chassis and simum design. That makes the complete bike get the unique dynamic characteristics and also a very high level of refinement. Where required, we were to explore some of the unexplored ways of damping, altering the transfer functions of vibration to come from the engine to the vehicle to the tactile points, to dial in a character that connects with me, that talks to me, all in all. The result is depicted here in the form of two graphs. What you see on the left side is how much does the bike respond when there is an external disturbance. The disturbance could be a gush of wind, a heavy vehicle passing by. The disturbance could be a pothole. It could be a sudden unexpected road tackle. But Ronin doesn't care. It doesn't get shaken up. The green line shows that Ronin gets disturbed the least compared to the other bikes that are out on the road. What you see on the right side is if something is so planted, then it's difficult for me to move. I need to put a lot of effort, but motorcycle is not for that. Motorcycle should listen to me when I want, and it shouldn't do anything on its own. So that required us to explore the new design space. Here, what you see is a frequency range. The frequency is the frequency at which I control. When I do a planned maneuver, it's a low frequency control. I have already planned, I thought I do it. When I have to do an unplanned maneuver, or if it's a mountain road with a lot of windings, then I need to do quick maneuvers. So what you see here on the horizontal axis is whether it's a planned slow maneuver or a high frequency control maneuver. All through the range, the control effort is minimized and the response is quick. So the engineered plantedness is adding with the effortless riding, which is something that's unique to go for long rides and enjoy the precision of response and also the planted feel. It's very important that the suspension is also tuned, not just for comfort, but also for the dynamic characteristics. So TVS Ronin gets upside down show of front fork with the big piston technology. The big piston offers something unique, instantaneous response, and the damping is so precise. Whatever be the speed we ride, whatever be the kind of road disturbance, the response is to be very precise to get that accurate damping control. So big piston does that. The rear is a monoshock with a gas-filled chamber, and that adds up to the instant response again from the rear. So the tweaking of the damping and its instantaneous response is a choice that we made to get that overall dynamic character without having to compromise on the comfort. So wherever there is a road disturbance, it readily absorbs the shocks and makes the ride comfortable, as well as you get the precise steering response. Tire is very critical, as we all know, and we were to design a new tire. The Remoro compound was further improved for getting in what we wanted in Ronin, and an all-new tread pattern was designed, block pattern was designed, looking at each tread block's movements so precisely and matching it with the rest of the vehicle's character. The ergonomics has been designed, applying scientific principles to look at how human body reacts. We know about the creep. I can hold 10 kg, but I can't hold 1 kg for a 1 hour time. So the creep is something that plays a lot when you ride for long distance. It's not only about comfort, it's also about how active I can be, how much can I enjoy the ride. So it's an upright posture that's designed with the scientific principles of our biology to release the back and give us an active upright posture. The seat is designed with the detailing which gives you the segment's best width and the comfort and support. The pressure distribution, as we can see here at the bottom right, it is engineered to distribute overall with the width of contact that we make. And what it means is when I sit for long rides, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, non-stop ride, then my blood circulation is not affected, the pressure is distributed uniformly. That gives a lot of comfort. I keep riding and all I need is brake for that. Though I don't use it, I need it when I want. So in braking again, we wanted to get something unscripted. As we keep applying the brake, you can look at one number where the force gets multiplied. But actual detailed study reveals that it is dynamic. It keeps changing as we keep pressing the pedal. In a disc brake, of course, you don't get too much of pedal travel, but even within that, there is a dynamic ratio change. So we worked on tweaking this. A lot of experiments were done to get a character. What you can see in the bottom left is a graph that depicts as you get the brake on. You want, most of the times you want just mild brake. You want the bike to respond to you. Say in the traffic, you just want to touch the brake and keep going. So that response is much higher in the Ronin design at the beginning, which means that effortlessly you can get that. But that doesn't mean that when I want a lot of brake, I instantly lock the wheel and the ABS kicks in and then makes the ride unpleasant. So as the progression happens, the ratio is modified in a way that you get a very progressive, quick, effortless braking in a city traffic and good amount of braking power fully there to explode when you want the full brake. TVS Ronin is also dialed in with ABS ride modes. You get ride, you get urban. It makes a hell of a lot of difference. I was riding in the Alps recently, and to be honest, I could realize myself how much ABS makes sense, especially if it is raining. It was raining cats and dogs, and on the rain with ABS mode switched over to rain. It was fabulous to ride the bike, and of course, suddenly the rain stops, and you can't get to ride anymore with the ABS on coming in so frequently. And on the go changeover of the mode is something that's another big factor that adds up to pushing the engineering and the science to get us what we want, enjoy the limits without having to exert ourselves. With so much to write, it is very important that we get beautiful looking signature lamp that also lights up the road as much as I would love without having to hurt the other road users. So that's the theme of definition for the lighting. It's a compact vertical stacked up LED lamp. It's sophisticated, bright. We'll see in the next slide how much bright. The tail lamp is something that's again unique. It comes with a solid test line light bar. When design drives engineering, a lot of innovation is demanded to make it look the way it looks and function something that adds up to what the design is. So we were to innovate on the way the light is generated and thrown on the tail lamp. What you see on the Ronin is a hybrid light emission technology where the LED light source has a reflector and also a solid light bar. That makes unique, distinct characteristic tail lamp readily noticeable on the road. Also, the turns in the lamp, the arrow shed turns in the lamp is readily noticed. Here again, the LED doesn't fit the eyes of the other road users directly. We used what is called indirect light emission reflector technology. So here, the LED source is camouflaged for the direct visibility and homogeneous light output is brought by using the lens design very intelligently. What it means on the road as I go, what on top we see is the low beam and the horizontal axis is the distance to which I get the light thrown. The pink or the blue or violet curve is what is the best that's in the segment today. Ronin gives more light output. In the near also it throws far. Similarly on the high beam, as you can see, it's far throwing onto the road with intensity which is very high where I need to get to see. So the other road users are respected, but I need my road to be lit. I need it to be lit for a long distance if I have to ride for long in the night at higher speeds. So that's the thing, and that's what the delivery is. Let's look at the last part, the electronic controls that have gone into making TVS Ronin again unscripted. What we have come up with is an intelligent electronic architecture that has a combination of the engine management system, the ABS control unit, the intelligent smart cluster, and first in segment integrated intelligent starter generator. That is another controller added. All of them talk to each other. It's a distributed master slave. As we keep riding, as we keep developing, I can keep adding up to the features without having to disturb the base. So that's an all new software architecture combined with the electronic architecture that's coming in Ronin. First in segment, integrated starter that is silent, that is instant. Today, ISG is common, we have in many models, but to put it in a single cylinder 225cc, we thought we will do it, but it wasn't easy. The kind of torque demand that the engine does and the size of the machine that is required and the kind of temperatures as the engine heats up, how that weakens the coil of the machine. All of this taught us a lot of lessons in engineering that we didn't know before. It was a long journey, but very interesting deep learning cycle. And that made us to dive deeper into looking at every small signal that comes from the engine in terms of the torque demand, the position control, and what the motor, the starter generator develops for a given current as a torque output. So unique start strategies have been adopted, and the alternative, of course, is a higher capacity machine that makes the starting very quiet, silent, instantaneous, and also anytime, anywhere, cold, hot. On the connected front, of course, on the dashboard, that's what as a rider I love to see. On the dashboard, Ronin comes with a very unique speedometer that's a little bit offset to the left and also rotated a little bit. That again was discovered, I would say, by studying deeply into the cognitive ergonomics, how we look at things when we ride, what we want to notice and how much is the eyeball movement, keeping off the track, on the track. So the ergonomics have been tweaked to get the design-driven function excellence. And that's a thin bezel, beautiful looking smart cluster. It comes with a lot of loaded features, connected smartness. You can manage the comms on the go, on the handlebar. As I said before, you can change the ride modes. You get voice assistant as well as you ride. And it's not about talking, it's about talking to the bike. It's about asking the bike to do something that I want as I go. Assist is something that makes the whole ride enjoyable, pleasure, stress-free riding. In the assist, we get added functionalities like phone battery alert, and that also is accessible through the voice. So in the voice, you can find the range. You can ask Ronin how much range is left. You can get a navigation kicked off to a required point, and then you get the voice guided navigation as well. And you can adjust the cluster intensity and many more. So it's a very unique asymmetric monopod, compact with a thin bezel, where the edge is not something that you want to see. You want to see what is in. Modern display on a classic hood and an intuitive information display that comes with all the basics, and also in addition a lot of details that make the ride so enjoyable and pleasurous. So the ergonomics is something here again. The science was helping us to find that particular position and that particular angle of rotation and the distance. Of course, considering different anthropometry of riders. The smart connected features, Vimal was touching on that. Of course, you get to explore a lot more tomorrow as you ride. So you manage so many things always in life. It's not one at a time. But when it comes to riding, most of us prefer riding, nothing else. But the world doesn't spare us like that. So I do get calls, and I don't want to be doing this so bad. And so I stay connected. I stay connected as I want, and then the voice assistant helps me to do that. And when I'm off from the bike, the digital dashboard on my mobile through the Smart Connect app gets me to see so many things, even if I'm away from the bike. And on the bike, I manage all my calls, I get my messages and notifications. I can switch off the notifications when I want to ride peacefully, only for the purpose of riding. And the navigation is voice assisted, so turn by turn, I get the guidance. So that makes TVS Ronin unscripted, and look forward to hearing you tomorrow as you write what you find unscripted. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please give it up for Mr. Babu. Okay, so we can't wait to show and we reveal what we have been building all this time. Are you ready? Are you ready to see the new way of life? You have to give me some sort of applause. Come on. Come on, be my audience for a change. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite Krishna, a very talented musician. He is a rapper, singer, writer, composer, and he's a very popular face in the hip hop Indian scene. So let's give him a warm welcome because he's going to reveal what we're going to say. Let's check this out.
Yeah. Let's go.
With me now, let the journey begin. I said it's hard. And I am wanting it to brought me remember the name. We lighting up for the trip. We climbing, we never sit down. All the ones that got too dirty to find. We like our own story. We keep it rolling in mind. Show me a sign. I'm ready to ride, ready to go with it. Life is no game. You just gotta flow with it, no limit. There's plans to be changed. It's time to switch lanes. No rules to this game. No blues for this game. I'm ready. I'm not ready. 5cc and I'm ready to rock. I got plenty of talk. Tell me when in my heart. Plenty horses on top. Be blazing like hot weather. Just change your plans now. Only when the stands down, true angles stand down, cruising clear, you lose your feel like I do. I can steer and choose a gear to fly through. Oh, and I am. Ride with me now, let the journey begin. I said it's hard. Oh, and I am. Running it's important, we remember the name. I said it's hard. Oh, and I am. Ride with me
You remember the name. I showed up like a cat, got the face of a model, but I can roll like a lion when you're twisted apart. I keep my lights on. All the time it don't matter, they running, they scared of my feelings, be shining like the sun in the bed. I'm more like me. All in these streets, whether it's open roads or these steep mountains, steep and low equal. You can see my colors unique, and I can be whatever you see, whenever you need. I got these nice smoke alloys, feeling the ease, that you can for sure. Even when we cruising and speaking, moving the lead, moving your feet, moving the streets, the tread on my tires, never tire, I'm choosing to please. I got an app on my own, and they can never even step on the path that I'm on. If you need me, you can talk to me through your phone. TVS, the one that got the keys to the throne. Yeah. Oh, and I am. Ride with me now, let the journey begin. I said it's hard. Oh, and I am. Running it's important, you remember the name. I said it's hard. Oh, and I am. Ride with me now, let the journey begin. I said it's hard. Oh, and I am. Running it's important, you remember the name.
Woohoo! Come on, everyone! Give it a big hand! Presenting Ronin. I was going to be you got so Thank you. Thank you. There can be never enough pictures of something which is that stylish and that illegal. I would like to thank Mr. Babu for joining us on stage. And I would request River to now share the final secret, the big secret, the pricing of Ronin. Let's see how it goes.
Yes, you get all the time.
Absolutely. Would request you all to please, if you get seated. Yeah. Thank you. And then we have another session. Thank you.
So there are three variants in it, which is base plus, and mid. And I'll just take you through the pricing of Ronin, which is really attractive. And it starts with base of 149,000, lightning black and magnum red. These are the two colorways for it. We have base plus, which is delta blue and stargaze black, starting at 156,000. And then we have mid, which is galactic gray at 168,750 and dawn orange at 170,750. So you've got to choose Ronin right from 149,000 up to 170,750,000 rupees. So these are all external prices, and they come with set of accessories, set of apparel, and the whole Ronin world along with you. So, guys, let me share the final area before we get to show this bike in full. So, can we have the final area of the Ronin, please? Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Whoa, that was something. And now I would like to invite Harini from Corporate Communications to share her views with you. Unscripted hashtag.
Wow, that was quite a spectacle, right? TVS Ronin indeed marks and are foray into the modern retro segment, a significant milestone in the growth story of premium business at TVS Motor. It ushers in a new era of motorcycling with a spontaneous way of life. As we start our journey towards this unscripted, I'm here to extend our gratitude to all our media friends who are with us today and who have flown from all across the country. Thank you. Our esteemed customers, partners, and dealer friends watching us live today, thank you for staying with us. A spectacular event takes many a teams to work together. A sincere gratitude and appreciation to our partners at the events, PR, creative, and digital agencies for tirelessly working on this event. Thank you to the team TVS for working relentlessly to make this launch a reality. It was wonderful hosting you all today, and thank you again for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rani. Thank you so much. I would like to invite Vimal and our Babu back on stage for the photo opportunity. Looks like we're not done yet. We need some more pictures. Here you go. Here you go, gentlemen. And after this, I would request everyone to immerse in the world of running. We have created an experience center. Please go look at it, touch, feel, and just experience the world of running. And join us for high teacher, please. Thank you. Also, a small announcement. I will see everybody at 7:30 for some good go attire. So some music, some nice dinner, and just we'll get talking. We'll just have a good evening. Thank you so much. I'll see you at 7:30. Meanwhile, you experience the Experience Center. This is Salma. See you tomorrow.
सॉरी शिवानी बोला म्यूजिक बंद करवा ना ये वाला information मिली तो जरूर लाइक कीजिए जल्दी Photo, madam.